Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
And I'm Tilina Udayaratna. First off, we take a look at tonight's top stories. Confirmed cases of the coronavirus have increased up to 43. The President instructs to suspend the arrival of passengers in flights for a period of 2 weeks. Chairman, Vice Chairman and a councillor of the Velikanda Pradesh Sabha arrested for objecting to control the coronavirus outbreak. Political parties and independent groups submit nominations for the general election. Ranil Wickremesinghe says everyone should work together for the prevention of the coronavirus. A vaccine has been tested to protect against the coronavirus.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed relevant authorities to halt arriving passengers to the country through Katnayaka Airport and other international airports for a period of 2 weeks. The discussion will be effective from midnight tomorrow. The government has taken measures to quarantine all arriving passengers into the country during this period. Presidential Media Division has mentioned that steps have been taken to provide all necessary facilities for the general public without a hindrance in accordance to the instructions directed by the President. These decisions were taken during a discussion held between the task force to combat the spread of the coronavirus and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa this morning. The meeting was held at the Presidential Secretariat. The President mentioned that the country should not become standstill, though all necessary steps should be taken in order to overcome the prevailing situation. While claiming that he will not hesitate to take the correct decisions, the President pointed out that the support of all sectors is essential to implement these decisions. The task force to combat the spread of corona was established on January 26th. No other country had established such a task force within a legal framework. Many necessary measures have been taken by the task force towards the prevention of the coronavirus. One of the key initiatives undertaken by the task force is to quarantine all passengers arriving from foreign countries. The President said that systematic and efficient measures have been taken to control the spread of the virus with the declarations made by the World Health Organization over the coronavirus. The President requested relevant authorities to create awareness among the public to acquire information over the persons who are yet to be quarantined. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that during the 15 years of backward era, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was then President and he was the Defence Secretary. He said during the humanitarian operations, close to about 5,000 people were killed, while close to about 10,000 people were disabled. However, the President said that they managed to take the country forward without imposing a lockdown. He said that it determines the leadership. He requested the nation not to be panicked. He said that the entire nation should act intellectually and responsibly at this juncture. He said that the gem businessman who arrived from Germany after being identified as positive for coronavirus, the President had instructed the intelligence to direct the person for quarantine. However, this person had fled from the authorities and acted in an irresponsible manner. He had requested the authorities to take legal actions against him. Speaking about the gall patient, the President said that he was found at his residence in Kuliapitiya. He said that necessary instructions were given to the family for self-quarantine. However, the President said this person failed to reveal that he had visited his father prior to being tested. Hence, the father of the patient had contracted the disease. The President said that analyzing the patients and considering the methodologies in place, the spread of the disease has not been vast. He said that the spread of the virus can be controlled with self-quarantine process.
දැන් එයායි එයාගේ පාර්ට්නර්යි එයාව පොසිටිව් වුණා කිව්ව ගමන්ම මම බුද්ධියන්සිට කිව්වා වහාම යන්න එයාගේ පාර්ට්නර්ට අනිවාර්යෙන් හැදෙනවා කියලා. එයා පැනලා ගිහිල්ලා ටෙලිෆෝන් එක ආන්සර් කරෙත් නැහැ. ඉස්පිරිතාල 3කට ගිහිල්ලා. බුද්ධිමත් කෙනෙක් කිසිම වගකීමක් නැතුව මම කිව්වා නඩු දාන්න කියලා. මේ ගාල්ලේ හැදුණු පුද්ගලයා. එයා අපි හොයා බැලුවම එයා ඉන්නේ කුලියාපිටියේ. කුලියාපිටිය අපි ගෙදරට යවුවා. මේක එන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට කිව්වා පවුලම නිරෝධායනය වෙන්න කියලා. එයාගේ තාත්තා ඉන්නේ ගාල්ලේ. තාත්තා බලන්න ගියා කියලා නිකන්වත් කිව්වේ නැහැ. තාත්තට හැදුණා. ඉතින් මේ හැම එකක්ම වගකීමකින් තොරව. හැබැයි මේ වෙනකොට මම විශ්ලේෂණය කරාම මේ හැදිච්ච අය ගැන ක්‍රමවේදය ගැන දන්නවා. ඒ අය ලොකු විශාලට පැතිරිලා නැහැ. ඒකින්ද මම හිතන්නේ මේ අයව අපි නිරෝධායන කළොත් මේ ස්ථානවලම අපිට මේක ලේසියෙන්ම පාලනය කරගන්නට පුළුවන්. නොමිනේෂන් දෙන්න ඕන හන්දා දිස්ත්‍රික් කාර්යාල ඇරලා තියෙනවයි කියලා. ඇත්තටම නොමිනේෂන් දෙන්නට ඕන. එවකට තිබුණු රජය අයවැයක් ගෙනල්ලා තිබුණේ නැහැ. අපේ රජයක් හැදුවා. ඒක සුළුතර රජයක්. අපිට අලුත් අයවැයක් ඒකෙන් ගෙනල්ලා සම්මත කරගන්නට පුළුවන් කමක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. හැබැයි විශාල ණය ප්‍රමාණයක් පොහොර වලට අපිට ගෙන්න ගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. ඒ පොහොර සමාගම් වලට සල්ලි ගෙවලා නැහැ. බෙහෙත් ගෙන්න ගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. බෙහෙත් සමාගම් වලට සල්ලි ගෙවලා නැහැ. කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් ෆීල්ඩ් එකේ කාටවත් ගෙවලා නැහැ. හමුදාවේ කෑම දෙන කොන්ත්‍රාත් අයට ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදාවෙම සල්ලි ගෙවලා නැහැ. හමුදාවලට කන්න දෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ. මේ වගේ විශාල ප්‍රශ්න එක්ක අපි හිතුවා අපි අමතර මේ වැය ශීර්ෂයක් ඉදිරිපත් කළා සම්මත කරගමුයි කියලා. අපි විපක්ෂයකට ඉඩ දුන්නේ නැහැ. මට ජනතාව බාර දුන්නු වගකීම් ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නට නම් රජය පවත්වාගෙන යන්නට ඕන. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි මේ වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ. දැන් මේ කොරෝනාව ආවම මේකට වියදම් කරන්නේ කොහෙන්ද? විසුරුවත් එක්කම අපිට දින දෙන්නට සිද්ධ වෙනවා. නාම යෝජනා බාරගන්නේ කවද්ද? ඡන්දය පවත්වන්නේ කවද්ද කියන කාරණේ පිළිබඳව. නාම යෝජනා දීම සිද්ධ වෙන්නට ඕන. ඊට පස්සේ ඡන්ද දිනය අපිට කල් ගවන්නට අවශ්‍ය නම් ඡන්ද කොමසාරිස්තුමාට ඒක කරන්නට පුළුවන්. මේවා ජනතාව දැනගන්නට ඕන.
Addressing the meeting, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that Sri Lankans who were on pilgrimage to Dambadiva in India are being stranded in several locations. The President instructed to provide necessary facilities in order to gather the scattered Sri Lankans in India and bring them back to the country following necessary mechanisms. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi and members of the task force were present at this meeting. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa addressed the nation short while ago, explaining the measures taken by his government to fight the COVID-19 disease. He requested all Sri Lankans to support this endeavour.
Well, on the same note, confirmed cases of corona patients in the country have increased up to 43, after 15 patients with the disease were reported within the day itself.
As of today, we got to know that there are 6 more individuals who got positive for COVID-19. Now, as Honorable Minister and Army Commander spelled out, we are working on Balikanda treatment, COVID-19 treatment center, which is a base hospital, and we have vacated the hospital to adjacent building, and the patients who need further treatment, I mean not COVID, the other patients would be facilitated to be taken to Polonnaru, and transport services would be provided. And then it's a very good building for COVID-19 treatment purposes. And the Sri Lanka Army, on our advice, on technical advice, they are improving the infrastructure so that the infection doesn't go across from patients to the staff. As you know, the staff has to be very kept in a very safe manner so that they don't harbor this infection. And then for this purpose, we are going to support the director of the Polonnaruwa General Hospital in very many manners that is required. For example, logistics, vehicles, and manpower. And then Putlam district, as you know, there are a lot of people who have arrived from Putlam, from Italy, basically. So therefore, special arrangements are being taken with regard to them in Putlam district. Especially His Excellency the President mentioned that they need to be house quarantined on a strict manner. And from today, as the Army Commander said, there will be restrictions on arrivals from overseas. So therefore, we have to basically look after those who harbor this infection in Sri Lanka, that they don't transmit this infection to others.
තාම කලහකාරී ලෙස ඉතාලියෙන් පැමිණි පිරිස හැසිරෙන වෙලාවේ
Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi said that an army officer has contracted the disease due to the involvement in easing the tension erupted during the arrival of a group of Sri Lankans from Italy. Locking down a country is not an easy task. During a discussion with the President, it was proposed to lock down the Puttlam district over the concerns raised with the increasing cases. The Sri Lankan Army commander, Lieutenant General, said that the country is not a defeated nation, therefore this menace should in fact be defeated.
දවස් 14ක් ඉදිනදා වුන් කරන රැකියාව නැති වෙලා වුණට දවස ගානේ හම් වෙන මුදල නැති වුණා. ඒ අයට දවස් 14ක් යනකොට බඩගින්න කියන එක හොඳට දැනෙනවා. හැබැයි අද පැහැදිලිව අතිකරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් තිබිච්ච සාකච්ඡාවේදී අපි ඒ කාරණය ගැන දීර්ඝව සාකච්ඡා කළා. ඒ සාකච්ඡාවේදී සමස්තව අපි තීන්දුව කරේ විශේෂයෙන් මේ ඉතාලියෙන් පැමිණි මේ රෝගය බෝ කරන පිරිස වැඩියෙන්ම ජීවත් වෙන ප්‍රදේශය වෙච්ච උත්තලම් දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ සමහර ප්‍රදේශ. ඒ ප්‍රදේශවල යම් තරමකට සංචරණය සීමා කරමින් ඒ ප්‍රදේශවලට මේ කටයුත්ත අඳුන්වා දීම සඳහා කුමන කාරණා පියවර ගත යුතුද යන්න අපි සාකච්ඡා කළා. ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඉදිරියේදී පියවර ගැනීමක් කිරීමට සිද්ධ වෙනවා.
අපි ජාතියක් වශයෙන් කවදාවත් පෙරදිච්ච ජාතියක් නෙමෙයි. අපි හැමදාම දිනපු ජාතියක්. ඉතින් මේකත් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අපි ජය ගන්න ඕනේ.
On the same note, the Sri Lankan Army commander, Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva, said that the country is not in fact a defeated nation. A first officer of Sri Lankan Airlines has been identified to be among the COVID-19 infected patients. The authorities have instructed all crew members who had worked with him in the flights within the past 14 days to self-quarantine. Reports have indicated that this person had attended the second day of the recently concluded big match between Royal College and St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia. The process to quarantine persons arriving from countries affected by the rapid spread of the disease has been carried out successfully. 16 quarantine facilities have been set up thus far. The Sri Lanka Army has indicated that 2,258 persons have been directed to these facilities. Meanwhile, another 134 persons who had arrived into the country from foreign countries have been directed to the quarantine facilities at the Pampamadua Quarantine Centre in Vaunia. The Sri Lanka Army has provided all necessary facilities for the persons at the quarantine facility. The post-examination process of the passengers arriving through flights from high-risk countries has been carried out in a successful manner. 3,460 persons have been post-examined accordingly. The Ministry of Defence has announced that all persons who arrived from Europe, Iran and South Korea during the period from the 1st of March to the 15th of March should register by dialing 119, the police emergency hotline number. The communique issued by the ministry has further indicated that persons are not required to visit the police station for the registration process. Violators of these directives will be penalized under the Quarantine Act. The Sri Lankan Army commander, Lieutenant General, said that the spread of the virus occurs through persons who had arrived into the country. Around 1,500 to 2,000 persons who had arrived from the 1st to the 9th of March continue to stay in the country without being quarantined. The majority of the suspected cases are from the Puttlam district.
So if you are a foreigner, if you have landed Sri Lanka from the 1st of March to 15th of March 2020, so you must register at our registration centers, or otherwise you can use the email that we have introduced. It is lahd@police.lk.
The government has declared a special 3-day holiday period from today until the 19th in order to prevent the spread of the virus. The government has taken this move to minimize the gatherings of the general public. The 3-day holiday period will be imposed on all state institutions, excluding health, food supply, transport, essential services, banks, district secretariats and divisional secretariats. The government has also requested the private sector to direct the attention in granting the holiday period. The extension of the holiday period will be determined after considering the spread of the virus. Meanwhile, 4 Belgian nationals have been directed to the Vaunia hospital by the police for violating health regulations in the country. The Railway Station Masters Association has taken trade union action to suspend the issuance of tickets in order to refrain from engaging in money exchange activities due to the spread of the coronavirus. Meanwhile, the acceptance of parcels have also been temporarily halted. Visits of the families to meet inmates in all prisons in the country have been suspended for 2 weeks from tomorrow. Issuing an extraordinary gazette notification, the government has imposed a maximum retail price and rate for the face masks today. Accordingly, the maximum retail price rate for a surgical mask is at a 50 rupees rate, while the maximum retail price of an N95 surgical face mask is at 325 rupees. And meanwhile, the chairman of the Velikanda Pradeshia Sabha and a group of councillors had interrupted state officials who were engaged in an observational tour to explore the possibility to utilize the office of the Velikanda Health Officer as a corona treatment centre on a temporary basis. Director of the Polonnaruwa General Hospital has lodged a complaint in this regard with the Velikanda Police. The Polonnaruwa District Secretary W.A. Dharmasiri and the Director of the Polonnaruwa General Hospital had visited to examine the suitability of the proposed location for a treatment centre. A group including the UNP chairman of the Velikanda Pradeshia Sabha had interrupted the state officials, and vice chairman of the Pradeshia Sabha, who was representing the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, and a UNP councillor who were among the group who were involved in the ruckus, had already surrendered to the Velikanda police. They were released on a surety bail worth 500,000 rupees each after they were produced before the Polonnaruwa magistrate.
The Government Medical Officers Association has requested the public to direct individuals with coronavirus symptoms to treatment centres set up by the government. The association made these remarks at a media briefing held today. 18 hospitals have been declared to carry out treatments for the coronavirus infection. Infectious Disease Hospital, Colombo National Hospital, Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital, Castle Street Hospital for Women, Mullaria Base Hospital, Ragama Teaching Hospital, Negamba District Hospital, Gampaha District Hospital, Kandy General Hospital, Karapija Teaching Hospital, Hambantara District Hospital, Jaffna District Hospital, Batiklo District Hospital, Anuradhapura District Hospital, Granagala District Hospital, Badula District Hospital, Ratnapura District Hospital and Polonnaruwa District Hospital are the declared treatment centres.
We have only capacity of 500. Every single day around 250 to 300 beds are occupied in all over the country. Nearly 200 or 250 beds can be used in the other hospitals also. Like for example, yesterday we have explained in the Eastern Province there are underutilized ICUs. Therefore, for the Polonnaruwa and the Batiklo regional centers, they can utilize those underutilized ICUs, especially in the Kalmuni area, which was developed during the last few years. And those things have to be clarified with the ministry so that they are doing the survey at the moment.
Actually, at the moment, we don't have that much of patients, but there may be influx. Also, we have to realize that there's nearly 90%, 85 to 90% cases are mild, so no need to go for the ICU treatments. Another 15 or 20, nearly to 15 to 10% patients are getting complicated. Nearly 5% or 7% patients needed ventilation or something. Rough idea. So basically, we have to prevent from the disease. Is the basic concept of the management in this scenario.
Well, the first human trial of a vaccine to protect against pandemic's coronavirus has started in the US. 4 patients received the jab at the Kaiser Permanente Research Facility in Seattle, Washington. The vaccine cannot cause COVID-19 but contains a harmless genetic code copied from the virus that causes the disease. Experts say it will still make many months to know if this vaccine or others also in research will work. The first person to get the jab on Monday was a 43-year-old mother of 2 from Seattle. Scientists around the world are fast-tracking research, and this first human trial funded by the National Institute of Health sidesteps a check that would normally be conducted, making sure the vaccine can trigger an immune response in animals. But the biotechnology company behind the work, Moderna Therapeutics, say the vaccine has been made using a tried and tested process.
The European Union's leadership in Brussels is calling on member states to restrict all incoming travel from foreigners to the bloc for the next 30 days. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom is attempting to galvanize industry for the coronavirus effort in a manner reminiscent of World War II.
Former Prime Minister and leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, has requested the general public and the respective sectors to extend their assistance for the measures taken by the government to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. He made these remarks while delivering a special statement today. Leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, said that the majority has yet to realize on the severity of the prevailing national disaster. Several religious ceremonies as well as the Sinhala and Tamil New Year is set to be held in the near future. The general elections are also expected to be held in the upcoming month. Therefore, the spread of the virus is expected to escalate in the upcoming days. Accordingly, the nation should initiate a process to control the spread of the disease. He requested the government again to direct their attention in this regard. He requested the government to prepare a collective plan by convening all entities, including political party leaders and health officials. He requested all to extend their assistance for the measures undertaken by the government to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. He said that the prevailing situation in the country should be defeated in a collective approach.
A video conference on the prevention of the coronavirus outbreak in the South Asian region was conducted at the Distance Learning Centre in Colombo yesterday. Public health officials and economists representing several countries in the Asian region participated in the video conference. Public health officials and economists representing Australia, South Korea and Sri Lanka convened on an online platform to share their experiences in combating the coronavirus outbreak in their respective countries and regions. The experts also contemplated on the economic and health impacts which could potentially hamper the national and regional level overall growth in near future due to the rapid spread of the virus.
We are having the regional epidemiologist in each districts. That means that we are having that 26. We are having 26 health districts. We are having 26 regional epidemiologists. Through them, that started this surveillance mechanism, and also we ensured that minimum requirement of logistics and other supplies for this containment of disease, because that it is very important at this level, that because this is a contagious disease and the personal protective equipment are very necessary to prevent the spread of disease from person to person, especially that contracting this disease by the healthcare workers. Also that when it is necessary that we started the contact tracing through this network. In the laboratory services, that actually that the Sri Lanka is one of the countries in the region that established these PCR testing facilities right from the beginning. Now that this facility is established about 5 centers in the country, and it will be expanding depending on the need. At the moment that this 5 centers capacity is enough for us. The risk communication is one of the most important part in this operation, because the most people got panicked because of the social media, that a lot of misinformation was circulating. We have to counteract. The Health Promotion Bureau has established a special center for this, and they are monitoring the social media, identifying fake news, and at the same time they are counteracting this fake news. At the same time that they are propagating, that they are disseminating the correct information among the community. Now that most people are aware, and they are cooperating with us and communicating with us and supporting us to contain this disease in the country. We did the mandatory quarantine for these people who are returned from Italy to South Korea and Iran. That its fruitfulness and it is that effectiveness has been very well demonstrated. That a number of cases that is identified during the last 3 days are from these quarantine centers. If they have gone to the home, they should have disseminated this disease to many of the locals. So with that, at the moment that we are confident that we are containing this disease, but still there is a risk that this can be disseminate or the spread within the community, and we are taking maximum precautions.
The economic impacts will mostly come out as a result of trying to deal with medical contagion. But the economic contagion is very quickly catching up with the medical contagion. We already have several studies, and they're increasing almost by the day, trying to estimate the economic impacts on economic growth. We have studies by academics, by multilateral agencies, and also the private sector, just to say that the estimates vary greatly from relatively minor 1 or 2% of GDP growth to almost apocalyptic 7, 8 or higher percentage of GDP growth. The economic impact operates through a number of channels, and each one has its own time dimension. Almost immediately we have seen the impacts on tourism and business travel and all the industries that are linked to them, airlines, hotels, etc. And these have been very hard hit. The supply disruptions emanating mostly from China is reverberating throughout the value chain and is already disrupting production. China is the hub for regional supply chains and also accounts for about 18% of global trade in parts and components. It's also affecting labor supply through changes in work practices and so on, work from home arrangements. But here, luckily, advances in technology, in telecommunicating, may limit the fall in productivity.
The government says that there is no shortage of essential consumer goods in the country. Speaking at a media briefing held in Colombo today, Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the general public should not panic unnecessarily in this regard. These remarks were made during a meeting held this evening between Minister Bandula Gunawardena and officers of the Essential Consumer Goods Importers Association. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the government has to make decisions in accordance with the discussions carried out with the state and private sectors over various issues affected in such sectors. He has said that the essential consumer goods will be imported into the country if a standstill occurs in the country. A consumer goods shortage may arise with the closure of the port and the customs, hindering the daily activities of the general public.
Handing over of the nominations of several main political parties and independent groups in several districts for the upcoming general election was held today. The Election Commission has indicated that the number of people arriving to hand over the nominations has been limited to 3 people in accordance to the Election Commission Act. The police have requested not to gather party supporters around the vicinity of the places stipulated to hand over the nominations and from conducting rallies.
Well, the acceptance of applications for postal voting will in fact be concluded at midnight today. However, with the declaration of the 3-day public holiday period, the chairman of the Election Commission, Mr. Mahinda Deshapri, has said that the applications for postal voting submitted in the upcoming days is expected to be considered as applications handed over on the stipulated deadline. Chairman of the Elections Commission, Mr. Mahinda Deshapri, said that a proposal has been made to consider the applications submitted for postal voting during the upcoming days as applications handed over on the stipulated deadline due to the 3-day public holiday period from the 17th to the 19th of March was declared by the government. He said that considering the actions taken by the government over COVID-19, the deadline to submit the applications for postal voting will be announced later.